transhumanism and the mixture of DNA of animal, possibly Nephilim, and human beings. And so we put ourselves close to the return of the Lord. And as we know, God destroyed the earth because of it. Now, let's go into Bible prophecy. And God gave warning too, by the way, about the mixing of seed. I wanted to go back to this. Noah and his family, their DNA was not corrupted. So God did a massive planetary DNA cleansing process where he gathered 2 of every species, which obviously were not affected by the intermingling of the demonic and the human. He took 2 of every species, including human beings. He put them on a massive ark, and this ark did exist, and then he flooded the earth, sparing all these animals and all these different species of life and human beings whose DNA had not been polluted and altered, and then he repopulated the earth with pure DNA. And here you say, well then how did the Nephilim, how did the DNA of the Nephilim reemerge? Well, part of that is speculative. Some people insist that it's there, but they're supposedly up at very high altitudes in frozen caves. There were the bodies of the Nephilim, or the giants of old, intact, or pieces of them, and they can get the DNA from there, or on a subterranean level, the bodies of Nephilim or body parts of Nephilim were frozen, and they got the DNA there. Plus, Hitler used to look out from his home to this beautiful mountain. I believe it was in Austria. And the mountain had a legend that deep within the mountain there existed a species that some people believed was the Nephilim, and they survived the flood, or through UFO visitation. Because you say, well, what are UFOs? Well, they could be many things, but they could also very easily be not aliens in that sense of the word, but UFOs, or the inhabitants that inhabit the spacecraft, the aliens, are really demons. Jacques Vallée, who was the scientist in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, alluded to this. So these aliens may very well be Nephilim. And isn't it interesting that out of the hundreds of thousands of reports of alien abduction, so often men and women are being probed in different areas of their body, and it appears to be that one of the primary purpose of the probing, including impregnation, if the accounts are accurate, is to gather the DNA of the human beings that they have abducted. So DNA is crucial. Now, the human race, which believes in the mythology of Darwinian evolution, wants to create a post-human species, and military organizations inside our Department of Defense, DARPA, are supposedly experimenting with all kinds of transhumanist technology and DNA modification. And I'm going to show you some symbols of our defense agencies, which I believe have occultic. The DARPA symbol has occultic symbolism, because there's the occultic pyramid, there's the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, and there's other military logos which clearly have an occultic messages, and you'll be able to view those, and then I go into tremendous detail about that in my DVD series, Are You Ready?, which you can get now, by the way, by going to paulmcguire.org. I go into a massive analysis about the coming one world government, the coming one world economic system, and the coming one world religion, because all of these are integrated. Now, let's dig into Bible prophecy, because this goes into Bible prophecy. In the book of Daniel, which is one of the most powerful prophetic chapters, prophets in the Old Testament, Daniel predicts the future of the human race. He interprets the dream of King Nebuchadnezzar, who has a dream of a giant statue composed of different materials. I have the chart in my DVD series, the 3 DVD series. And Daniel interprets the dream for King Nebuchadnezzar, who is the king of Babylon. And each part of the statue represents a great world, Gentile world empire. So the first great world empire would be the Babylonian Empire. And then we have the Grecian Empire, and we have the Medo-Persian Empire. And then we have the Roman Empire. And Rome, of course, conquered the entire world, all the way up into Europe and Great Britain and Russia, and Rome conquered all the way down into Africa. And in the last days, this is so important, there's going to be a revived Roman Empire. And right now the euro is on the precipice of falling apart. Now, if the euro collapses, and I believe there's the planned destruction of the dollar, and I go into detail about this in my DVD series, Are You Ready? The planned destruction of the dollar has been in the works for a long time, but the purpose of destroying these individual currencies is to create a one world currency for a one world government and a one world religion. And unless you understand that game plan, you're going to be manipulated and confused. And it's also important for you to know that across Europe and in the United States, both political parties are controlled by the same power elite, the Bilderberg group. You know, these are not conspiracy theory groups. They're real groups. I show you pictures. I give you quotes in the DVD series. Are you ready? The Bilderberg Group, which has heavy Nazi beginnings. The Federal Reserve, which is international bankers who seized the money supply of the United States of America during the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. You look in the back of the dollar bill, and what do you see? You see again the pyramid, which is an occultic symbol, the Latin words Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages or New World Order. You see the picture of the phoenix, which is an occult symbol, and then you see the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, an occult symbol, and then above the all-seeing eye of Lucifer you see a tiny pyramid which represents the scientific elite that will rule the world. Now the Fabian socialists, the intellectuals like H.G. Wells and Bertrand Russell and others, planned for a scientific elite to rule the world, and that's what we're seeing happening now. The idea of the Constitution is being destroyed because it's no longer we the people. That has been, in a stealth-like manner, been maneuvered to we the people as an illusion. This nation and the nations in Europe are ruled by an invisible but powerful elite. Now, the European Union, which is the revived Roman Empire, which could also involve 10 regional global governments, of which the North American Union would be one regional global government, the European Union would be another regional global government. The European Union they're building. And in my DVD series, Are You Ready?, which you can get at paulmcguire.org, I show you the pictures of famous classical artists' painting of the Tower of Babel, or Babel, which was the first global government. And the Tower of Babel was in Babylon, which is the mother of all the mystery religions and the occultic religions. It was an astrological worship tower designed to put man into the stars. Now, why is that important? Because Satan led a revolution of all the fallen angels, and it was his desire to ascend into the heavens, ascend into the throne room of God, as he revolted with 1/3 of the angels, because Lucifer wants to be God, and many of his followers today who run the global government from behind the scenes believe that Lucifer is God and he's going to triumph. You just read the writings of the occult teachers and the spirit guides that these people are reading and receiving their supernatural and occultic direction from, like Madame Blavatsky and Alice Bailey, and there's so many others. They believe that Lucifer is God, the shining one. So let's read this prophecy in Daniel, in the book of Daniel, and I want to show you something in the prophecy that my friend Chuck Misler wrote, and I believe Mark Eastman also, well, I believe he was the co-author of the books and the materials. But in Daniel chapter 2, I want to read you something, because Daniel is interpreting this great statue in Nebuchadnezzar's dream of the 4 great world empires. And it goes on and on and on, because none of the other wise men or magicians of Babylon were able to interpret the dream. But Daniel explains the dream, because God gives Daniel supernatural revelation to understand the dream. And I want to go through this again. Just because there are a lot of people who exploit signs, wonders, miracles, and just because the false prophet is going to use false signs, wonders, and miracles, and just because false teachers and false apostles use false signs, wonders, and miracles, and just because the New Age and the occult uses false signs, wonders, and miracles, does not mean that all signs, wonders, and miracles are from Satan. If a miracle lines up with the Word of God, that miracle can be from God. Some Christians have thrown the baby out with the bathwater.